Hey, hey, hey. Hi, my lovelies. Welcome to the channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Daily Vibration. So happy Moon Day to you. It is Monday, August 29th, 2022. Can you believe that we're already in August? We're about to approach September, y'all. Right? So if you're adding the month, the day, and the year together, we are vibrating on the number 7 today. All right. So we got some energy of inner knowing going on in the atmosphere today. But a few announcements before we begin. All right. So if you've been supporting me for the past 3 months on Patreon, I want you guys to know that you should see new videos going up on the 5th of September, and also email me for a free reading. All right. Now, astrology and archetypes will be coming back. The date is to be announced. Right. The new channel is going to be launching on 9/23. 2022. So on September 23rd, 2022, the Multi-Metaverse Oracle channel is going to be launching. And then we have the 100-day level up journey coming. Date is also to be announced, right? And I just want to say, the week has started, and as I was sitting in meditation, just thinking about, how the energy is in the atmosphere, and I really don't always check in on the planets as far as the major transits and stuff in the daily vibration as much as I used to anymore. I just kind of highlight the things that you guys need to know, right? We are going into retrograde on the 9th of September, so you do want to be mindful of that. Mercury is going to be going into retrograde, so communication can be a little wonky. Not to mention that your gadgets can be acting a little strange, okay? So be mindful of that, right? So I want you to know that as you're moving throughout the week, right, there's going to be sudden revelations about people, about you, and about situations that you can rectify, changes that you can make, okay? And you want to be open for that as you're moving throughout the energy, okay? Try not to be too overly critical as you're moving throughout the energy this week is something else that I heard as I was in meditation. You want to look at situations again with a different perspective, with a new perspective, right? But maybe it's perspective where you're not angry anymore, where you're not sad anymore, where you've kind of like moved into a more of an acceptance phase, okay? And for some things, as you're moving throughout the week, you're going to have to know that only time will tell. And I kind of feel like there's just going to be some things as you guys are going through retrograde that may not be settled until after retrograde, okay? So that's the message, the intuitive message that came through, right? Sudden revelation about people, about you, and about situations that you can change. Try not to be too overly critical this week, and look again with a different perspective at whatever you have going on. Right? Check in with yourself to use your feelings as indicators, not so much to keep you stuck this week, right? And only time will tell in certain situations. So let's jump on into this, my love. So we do have the air element popping on up here as we are moving throughout the message coming in from spirit this week, right? So we got the air element popping up here. Air element rules Gemini, it rules Libra. It also rules Aquarius, okay? So those archetypes are, for Gemini, that energy would be what you think. For Libra, it would be you balancing things. And for Aquarius, it will be what you know. Those are the archetypes, if you have to use phrases for them, where you would place them, right? So we have the air element popping up with a message today from the spirit. So when we see the air element in this deck, it represents not just philosophy, but it also represents intellect, right? It represents communication. It represents your thoughts. right? Logic and reasoning, right? So just be mindful what Spirit is saying today as you're moving throughout the day. You know, use your intellect. Now, intelligence and intellect are two totally different things, and we're not going to get into that today, but you do need to know that, right? So using your intellect is going to be using your left side of the brain, which is being logical and thinking, you know, doing that critical thinking, right? And paying attention to your thoughts, what energy you're sending out into the ethers, okay? So be mindful of that today. Now, the flip side of the air energy, you do need to know it can be overthinking things. You can find that you're a bit flaky with your decision and maybe even what you think about people, okay? So you do want to watch that. And I also want to say here, you can have your heads in the clouds here when this is on the flip side, right? Like, so you're just in your own world. You're not really taking others and what they got going on into consideration. And this, in the flip side, can also be gossiping. So you do want to pay attention to that energy as you're moving throughout the day, okay? So overall energy today is just use your reasoning mind. You know, be logical today. Don't get so much stuck in your feelings today as we're moving throughout the day. You want to stop and think, right? Then check in with what you feel, take action so you can begin to ground yourself in a physical realm to produce that manifestation, okay? So we do have the number 7, like I said, ruling the day today if you're adding the month, the day, and the year, right? So when we're dealing with the number 7, you're still, like I said, as you're using your reasoning side and paying attention to your thoughts today, number 7 is going to jump on in there with just an inner knowing to let you know and guide you intuitively, right? Number 7 is also going to require you maybe to tap into some endurance today, maybe even your mysticism, right? There's a key sense of discernment when operating with the number 7, so you can find that some of you are tapping into that place of knowing today where your clears are popping up, your clairvoyances are popping in today. The flip side of the number 7 is you can find argumentative energy, but you can also find pride. Not to mention people can be antisocial here and a bit self-righteous today. So remember, right? You get to choose what energy you want to sit in. You can't be happy and sad at the same time. So you can either be working on one side of the energy or the next. So you choose, right? You don't allow people to steal your joy. You have to choose how you want to move forth with energy, okay? So I also want to note that we do have the number 11, which is a master number popping on up in the date today. And if we reduce that down, you get the number 2. So it's still talking about intuitive energy with the number 2. If you're just using a date, right? As well as mastery with the number 1, mastering your ego and allowing that balance between your spirit and your ego, right? Number 1 is going to tap into some assertiveness, right? And some people can take assertiveness for, I want to say aggression, right? Because the flip side to the number 1 is aggressive or passive aggressive energy, right? So you can find assertiveness with the number 1, leadership or self-leadership qualities that you want to tap in today, which is not jumping on the phone and calling somebody to make a decision, like sitting and being with yourself before making decisions today, right? Your willpower. Now, you know, we talk about this a lot. Your willpower is the power for you to create and destroy. And let's just be honest, some things need to be destroyed so you can create again, right? So tapping into your willpower and your ambition is going to be helpful today with the number 1 energy. But the flip side to the number 1 energy is passive aggressive energy, people operating without emotions, conceited energy, as well as maybe forceful energy today, right? So just pay attention to how you are moving energetically today. And if I can just say, these are just like a collective overview of just energies out there dealing with numbers. I haven't even began to break down every number in the date. I'm just, kind of like doing a summary here, right? So as you're moving with the air element today, which is all about your thinking, right? And you do know critical thinking, and I don't even want to say, but critical thinking came out. So I'm just going to let that sit there. So critical thinking may be important for some of you today, right? And I kind of feel like even with this quartz, if it looks like an amethyst crystal here, right? And you can find that healing energy is coming in, right? in your mind. Maybe you've been replaying some negative things. Maybe you've been feeling like you haven't been able to really communicate your truth, right? So somebody got to speak their truth and communicate their truth, but you haven't been able to communicate your truth, right? And for some of you, you can be dealing with people talking about you today. So really, you want to be able to watch your thinking, use your logical mind in balance with your emotions today, which means do not react emotionally today, okay? That's going to be important as you're moving throughout the energy, all right? You have wonders popping on up here today supporting this energy as you begin to do that self-correction, right? Because there are going to be disruptions as you're moving throughout the day. And I kind of feel like disruptions is people like trying to get at you. You're going to have to remember that you are the light. And I want to say, remember that you are the light and the darkness, because you can really do the flip side of any one of these energies, okay? So be mindful and pay attention to that as you're moving throughout the energy, okay? So we're going to do something different today, right? Give me 1 second. I've already pre-pulled the cards, but we're going to do something different today, y'all. We're doing energy for, let's start with these, right? We're doing the energy for who, what, where, and why today, okay? Why do you need to use your reasoning skills today? Who's being flaky today, right? What's going on, right? Or what is it about that you need to know today, right? Where is this happening? Is this happening in your thinking, and your doing, or in your feeling, right? And why is this happening? So we're going to look at that. Give me a second. Let me just grab a bottle of water. Okay. Alrighty. Give me 1 second, guys. Think about what we just spoke about. Who, what, where, and why. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I needed to take my allergy medicine. Okay, so let's get into this. All right, who, what, where, and why? Okay, who? All right, so let's think about some things. So we're being asked to use our critical thinking, our reasoning skills as we're moving throughout the energy, right? This day, which is 8/29/2022. Now, like I said, keep it in mind, energy is fluid. So this can be you, or this can be someone else that you're interacting with. But wherever the energy fits, you want to apply it. Okay, so we got popping on up in the board, my loves. Neptune's energy, which is Pisces. We also have Libra's energy popping up here. So we have balanced energy, but we also have energy of understanding, right? This is third eye chakra, but it's in reverse, right? So this energy right here, you're dealing with someone that's emotionally immature, or this could be you. You're dealing with someone that can be childlike in their emotions, and they don't quite maybe know how to express themselves, right? See, they don't quite know how to express themselves. Here is Libra again in the energy, and these both cards are reversed. So we're seeing Libra in the energy, but we're also seeing Libra paired with Aquarius. Oh, well, I would say Uranus. And you know Uranus is co-ruler of Aquarius. So over here with Neptune, that Pisces energy, Pisces is all about understanding. Suffering is serving, and really serving don't mean that you're somebody's doormat. It just means like your gift, your kindness, whatever it is you do that you're giving back, even being the best you that they can possibly be, or being the true essence of yourself, right? That's serving, because it doesn't serve anyone when you're not living in your truth, right? So when Pisces energy shows up, or aka Neptune's energy shows up, this is about spiritual growth, right? This is where you begin to understand that things may not necessarily be what they seem, right? And you have to begin to balance your emotions, taking things in a new perspective today. So we could be looking at Libra energy as well as Pisces energy. Okay, so you could be dealing with a Libra, you could be dealing with a Pisces, or you could be dealing with someone that lacks understanding and lacks balance in your life, right? And that's very emotionally immature today, right? So you need to be mindful of that as you're moving throughout the energy today, right? You can also be dealing with Aquarius's energy here popping up on the board too. This person, due to the immaturity, right? What's going on is lack of intelligence. So what is this about? This person is just not that smart. They don't think things through. It's like they react emotionally and think that they're not responsible for stuff. And if this is you, you're going to have to work on that. Okay? If this is you, you're going to have to work on that. Where is this happening? This is playing out in their feelings. And then they're being vocal about their feelings too. So we have Cancer's energy popping up with its ruler, the moon. Protective energies by the moon, but that could be protecting your lies, or protecting, your, like, I want to say being wrong and strong, like protecting whatever it is you say is true, or whatever you swear by, you're protecting it. Right? And it could be protecting your pain. So you're dealing with somebody today that's immature, and it's about the way that they think about things, and they're just not emotionally immature. They're not rational. They're just not rational. I kind of even feel like an emotional temper tantrum here, because we do have Pisces and Cancer showing up. That's a lot of water energy, not to mention Libra is showing up here with Venus. So that could be somebody that you love. Oh shit, somebody that you hate. Why? Why is this happening? So this is happening because somebody may have feel like they've missed an opportunity. Somebody have feel like maybe they were unfairly cheated out of something. Because Wands energy is supposed to be about inspiration and taking action. They may have feel like they've been cheated about not receiving something, but it's kind of like they didn't take the steps that was necessary, right, to handle what was needed so they can get the reward. Somebody's so busy thinking about their potential that they're not actually acting on the potential. And I kind of feel like emotional temper tantrum is what's happening now. You got Libra showing up here, the eternal teenager. Then you got Aries showing up here. And then you got Sagittarius showing up here. You got all of the freaking fire signs showing up here. Aries can be stubborn. Libra can be, it's all about me, right? And then Sagittarius can be blunt. So I feel like you're dealing with someone that's emotional today. This is about them not really taking the time to think logically. Remember, today, Spirit is saying you got to think logically. This is happening on the emotional front, and it's playing out in their actions. And the reason why is because they may have feel like they were cheated or they missed an opportunity. And I don't know, I kind of feel like this person could always be the bearer of bad news too. Like every time you speak to them, they just got some negative shit going on. Right, so let's see. Now, if this is you, you know You need to look at things differently, right? Think about things from a different perspective today. Think about it from a different perspective today. Yeah, they like to talk a lot about this. This could be a lot of text messages going back and forth about what they feel, what they deserve, what they don't deserve, and all of that. Self-absorbed. And I kind of feel like that. Self-absorbed narcissist. And I kind of feel like, just so you know, okay, this energy could come across passive-aggressive too, right? But I feel like, there's jealousy, and I kind of feel like this person could be low-key watching you on the internet too. Yeah. You may have moved on from a situation, or you may have just, like, you know, gotten what you've needed from the situation, so you're no longer bothered by it, and they may not have fully resolved it yet. Yep, somebody's frustrated. And somebody could be frustrated because although you're going through some shit, you may not necessarily look like you're going through some shit. You're living in some gratitude. And if you're not, you need to get up on the gratitude. Get up on the gratitude. If you are not, get up on the gratitude. Remember, there's sudden revelations happening this week about people, about you, about situations, right? Try not to be overly critical as you are doing that logical reasoning and that critical thinking and communicating. Pay attention to your thoughts. Look at things with a different perspective as you are moving throughout the energy. And for some things, only time will tell, and I kind of feel like time is now. I feel like time is now, right? I feel like somebody may want you to trust their story, or you may have been trusting somebody's story. This could be somebody that you cared about, somebody that's related to you. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're related by blood. I don't know why I feel necessary to say that. But I feel like it's time for you to decide where you stand in this. It's time for you to decide where you stand in this. You know you're dealing with somebody that's immature. And I even kind of feel like emotional manipulation. And if you're the one doing that, this is why I say don't do things to get a reaction, because you may not necessarily like the reaction that you get. That's important for you to know. It's time for you to wake up. Create your own life. It's your moment. And you know that. Find the inspiration. I kind of feel like, yeah. That's really where you can tap into the mysticism with the number 7 today. This is also about conception, and I kind of feel like your perception is going to be key. How do you perceive this? And you are going to have to make a decision how you view this. Now, this is where I'm going to have to tell you what we talk about all the time. Walls versus spaces. Not because you share walls with somebody, aka you live with somebody, you work in the same cubicle, you work at the same job. Not because you are in a building and you share walls with someone means that they get to share your space. All right? And it's saying here, you change quickly about this situation, because it's kind of like, I kind of feel like there was a lot of talking, right? And this person got off their chest a lot. Right? They got off their chest a lot of what they wanted to talk about. And it was a lot of emotional manipulation. And I really feel like them not understanding the role that they may have played in why things happened the way they did. This can be family or somebody that you consider family. But they want you to trust the story that they're telling you. It's time for you to decide what you want to do. You know that you're dealing with somebody immature. Okay. You know that you're dealing with somebody that's immature. And I kind of feel like somebody's frustrated. And maybe you're not the frustrated one because you've kind of made up your mind how you're moving with this. And with all of these fire signs in reverse, I feel like with the Aries, they can be very petty. With the Leo, they can be narcissistic. And with the Sagittarius, they can be blunt, all right? This is crown chakra energy, but this energy is in reverse, which means their third eye. Their crown chakra is closed. It's kind of like they purposely try to manipulate the situation. And I really kind of feel like this energy is like when you are good and vibrating and pulling things to you. And I really want to say you're in a good space. It's like this energy tries to take you out of that space so you can feel down and depressed. And okay. So air element today, watch what you're thinking today, right? Watch what you're thinking today. Communication and logical thinking as you're using your intellect is going to be key today. Some people may be moving in a flaky aspect of this and maybe overthinking things and maybe gossiping about you. But I also feel like being overly critical today. So be mindful of that, right? And as you bring your thoughts into alignment, you can begin to see wonders. We do have the amethyst here. We got healing energy in the atmosphere, especially healing from situations that may have caused a disruption in your life. You need to remember that you're the light, so you don't have to respond to everything just because you can, right? So keep in mind, whatever you give energy to and attention to, it grows. Right? So if you feel the need to just tell somebody off just because you can, how about you practice just because you don't want to? Right? Especially if you know you have a Sandra, right? So we talked about Sandra before in some of the videos, right? Sandra is that friend that is always late. Sandra is always late. And you are going to ask Sandra to take you on a job interview that you need to be to on time. And then you're going to get mad with Sandra because Sandra late to take you to the job interview and you don't get to your interview on time. So now you and Sandra not talking. But how can you be mad at Sandra when Sandra late for her own shit? Right? So stop taking things so personal. Especially if you know some people are projecting and they operating out of fear. If you know that, why are you taking it personal? That's giving that energy, which means that you're going to pull more situations like that to yourself. Okay? All right, my loves. Okay, so y'all know the deal, right? You want to go ahead and be kind to yourself. You want to love yourself. You want to honor yourself, right? And I don't think I said this in the beginning, but the sun is in Virgo. The moon is in Libra. Virgo is analyzing things for your health, your well-being, what works, what doesn't work, but it can be overly critical. So you do want to be mindful of that. But Libra is the moon energy, which is balance, right? So balance those things that may be out of alignment today. How about that? Using your communication through your thoughts, your intellect, and your logical and reasoning mind, your inner knowing. Being able to endure past the bullshit today. All right? Know that people will be operating on argumentative energy, prideful energy, and maybe a bit antisocial today. Shit, you may be a bit antisocial today yourself. All right? So be assertive today as you're moving through the energy. All right? Tap into your willpower, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's daily vibration, my loves. So don't forget to do something kind for yourself and do something kind for somebody else. Not maybe because they don't deserve it, but because you can. All right, my loves.